Hey, so this video is for people who are asking this question, which I've had several. How can I get a closer eye line to my viewer or make it look like I'm looking my my Zoom participants in the eye? So one of the things that is a drawback with cameras like this is that sometimes the camera is too high, sometimes it's too low. If it's too high, it's looking down on us. If it's too low, it's looking up our nose. And we really want to have an eye line that looks like we're looking directly in the lens of the camera. So as we think about this, there are a few options here that I've got situated for you. And then we can talk about some other principles if you don't like any of these options. So the first one you see here is the center cam. So this center cam is designed so that it's a small little camera, and it's designed so that it can come down and be right in front of the camera, right in front of the eye line. You can move it up and down. It's got a little clip up here that kind of holds it in place, but then this unclamps very easily, moves up and down. One of the drawbacks of this one that I don't love is that it doesn't have it's designed for a room that is that's kind of like a basement that's very dark. And so if you have a well-lit room, which I recommend that you do, it sometimes will overcompensate for that. So that's one of the drawbacks of that. But it is very small, it's very compact and concentrated. It's an HD camera, it's not 4K. So that's the first option. The second one, this camera is my favorite camera. It's called the Lumina. I actually ended up contacting them and saying, hey, could we do could I get a special discount for my viewers, my followers? And so I actually have that, and I can give that to you as well, because I like this camera so much. So Lumina, and it is on the Plexi cam. So the thing that's nice about this is that it can go up and down. So you can just kind of slowly, I don't know if I can do it with one hand, but you can adjust it up and down based upon where your viewer is. And it can be a nice camera like this Lumina. Now it does take up a little bit more space. You can see my face right behind. That's the Lumina camera that we're looking at right there. So you can see my face, and when I'm looking directly at the Lumina camera, it looks like I'm looking directly in their eye line. And then the third option is a clamp like this. And this is another camera that I highly recommend as well. This is more for if you want to have a gimbal camera that kind of follows you. So you can actually see that I have that camera over here. If I'm looking directly at that camera, it looks like I'm looking in your lens, looking directly in your eyes. And it actually, I can have that camera so it follows me. See, so now I'm going to move slightly over here, move over here, and it follows me. And that is just on a simple clamp. These can run anywhere from $20, $30 to hundreds of dollars depending on where you get them. But that works pretty well as well. So these are some options. They're not my favorite because all of them do obstruct the view slightly depending on the size of the view. So this one is probably the least, the center cam is probably the least obtrusive. The Plexi cam and a clamp like this probably are similar. And then actually my ideal way to do this is with a teleprompter. And that is a very different setup, and it may take up a lot more space on your desk. But that actually is the ideal way for me. I think to have a teleprompter would be probably the best option, but it may not be within your price range or within your budget. But these are three very good options.